my sales rate for the year has been 53%.
So your cost to acquire a new client is right around $200.
Yeah.
And what is your average job size?
4,500. I knew I always wanted to have a business. I wanted to do my own thing. We would start at like 6 and paint till like 3 in the morning. And I just got totally burnt out from that.
And everything's subbed out now.
Yes, I don't have to paint anymore. Yeah. I average about 10 to 15 hours a week actually working on production. Don't major in minor things. Just go get results and you'll figure it out.
Hey, it's Hunter with Painting Business Pro. I have Sam Satterfield on the podcast today. Sam went from flipping couches as a college kid to starting his own painting company. And this year he's on pace to 4x his business. In this episode, we dive deep into Sam's success with Facebook ads, as well as how he handles client conflict, all the way to how he develops great relationships with his subcontractors. I think you're really going to enjoy this episode. Let's dive in. What's up, Sam? Welcome to the podcast, man.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm super excited to have you on today. How are you doing?
Doing good. Today's pretty chill, so
Good.
Just ready for the podcast.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, before we get into everything, just can you tell the audience how long have you been in business and how did you get started?
So this past spring, it's been about 4 years since I've been in business. I got started. I was painting with my dad for about a year in high school. My last year, he had painted some in high school and college, and with COVID and everything happening, he kind of got laid off of work, so he had to start painting again. The first project I ever helped him on, somehow, I don't know how he landed it, but somehow he landed a 30,000 square foot doctor's office, basically just going through painting all the walls in it. And he kind of gave me no option. He was like, look, we got to get this done, so you need to help me. And so we did that, and it was at nighttime too. So we painted we would start at like 6 and paint till like 3 in the morning. And that was basically my life, my last year of high school.
Wow.
And then we finished that project, and I told myself as soon as I graduated, I'm never going to paint again. I hated that. I don't want to do it. So I graduated, and then I was trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do here with my life? I knew I always wanted to have a business because I hated being told what to do. I wanted to make money. I wanted to do my own thing. So I knew I wanted to have my own business. In high school, I was kind of thinking, okay, let me be a general contractor. Construction seems cool. I like that aspect of it. So that's what my plan was after graduating. But of course, I had no idea how to get into that. So the summer after I graduated, I was basically just like building some furniture, like dining room tables, flipping furniture. Did that the summer after I graduated. And then a guy in my church did remodeling, and he gave me a call in November 2021. He was like, hey man, I heard you kind of know how to paint. I have a paint job. Do you want to do it? And I was like, well, let me think about it, because I told myself I was never going to paint again. And then I took it because I was like, I have nothing else to do. So I painted it, went pretty smooth. I made decent money. So I did that for about a year, and then also landed another doctor's office. It was me and my granddad painting at this time. And then that was the same thing. So I was painting during the day from like 7 to 5 or 6. And I would drive an hour to this other doctor's office, paint it from like 6 to 2. And then that was my life again for like another 3 or 4 months. And I just got totally burnt out from that. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to keep painting. I have to figure something else out. So I decided to go to college. Let me figure this, see if that works. Went to college for a year. It was okay the first few months, but again, I didn't like it because I had a schedule that I had to stick to that wasn't my schedule. I was being told what to do. I didn't like that. So in college, the way I made money, I would buy and sell couches. I'd skip class. I'd be in class looking at, Facebook Marketplace, finding couches. I'd skip class to go deliver and buy couches. So that's what I did in college. I tried painting at the beginning of college, try to see how that would work. And it just didn't work out because there's no time in college when you have classes to go and paint all week. So then I figured out the couches. I was clearing about like $2,500 a week on couches, like working like 10 hours. So I was like, okay, this is awesome.
Nice.
And then I decided not to go back because I didn't like the whole college experience. So I was trying to figure out something else to do besides painting. Kept trying to run away from that. So I was like, okay, let me start an Airbnb business because I found a guy online. He said that. So I tried that. I came back. That was spring that would have been spring 2023 when I came back from college. I tried doing the whole Airbnb thing until about the end of the year. And then the same exact scenario happened. The same guy called me back. He was like, "Hey, do you want to keep painting?" I was like, "Sure, I need to make some money." So I started that again. And then I got to spring 2024 and I was like, I guess this is what I'm doing with my life. I got to figure out how to streamline this. I don't want to have to be working 10-hour days the rest of my life, getting covered in paint up on ladders.
Mhm.
So I started looking stuff up, about estimating, making more money, all that. And I found Eric on YouTube. So I watched him for about a month. And then I found out that he had a course. So there was like an application, I think, or something I filled out for that. And then that was March 2024. I signed up for Painting Business Pro. And I kind of got in like the analysis paralysis type thing. Like, oh, let me watch all these videos. Let me make my perfect logo. Let me make my perfect website before I actually start. So it took me until about August 2024 until I really started like, okay, I need to just figure this out. It doesn't matter about my logo. It really doesn't matter about my website. Like, I just need to get jobs going. So I was already doing Angie's List personally. So I just thought, okay, instead of pricing these jobs for me, let me just price it to sub out. I have the spreadsheet that was in the course. So I had about a month where I was trying to sell jobs at a high enough price to where I could sub it out. And then I finally landed one. It was a deck. I was like, okay, this is going to be easy. It's a deck. Worst case scenario, it gets screwed up. I can do it myself. So I sold it for like 1,500. Now I would probably sell that deck for like 3,500. And I subbed it out for like I think I subbed it out for like 1,200 bucks. So I made 300 bucks on it, but I was so happy because I didn't have to do the work. So that was the first job. And then slowly after that, it just started trickling in. That first sub crew I used, they were how the course described, they were like a C or a B team. Like they did okay work, their price was good, but it really wasn't what I needed it to be, what the customers needed it to be. So I had some problems there for a few months. And then I found the guys I have now, I found them at the end of the year. But yeah, so end of 2024 is when I really started subbing things out. And then this year has just been insane. Like I think December 2024, I did about, I think it was 18K in sales. January 2024, I did like 55K. And it's been pretty consistent since then. The biggest month I've had so far has been 80K. And I think that was in June.
Wow.
So it's been pretty consistent
That's
since then.
fantastic,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. So what was your revenue in 2024?
I did right at 155,000. And then I subbed out about 45K worth of work between August and December.
Okay. And in 2025, it's August 2025 right now. So what year to date, what are your numbers so far?
I've done right at 406,000, and that's keeping the 50% margin on it. My sales rate for the year has been 53%. So I feel like everything's pretty solid.
Amazing, man. And everything's subbed out now.
Yes, I don't have to paint
Yeah.
anymore. The beginning of the year, I made the mistake of, trying to do some jobs myself still, but I was like, no, I have to completely stop. I can't keep doing this. I don't like
Yeah.
painting.
Yeah. So 155K in 2024, and your run rate is probably around $600,000 this year,
Yeah.
on pace to 4x your business from
Oh,
last
for
year.
sure. Yeah.
Congrats, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
It's
So
exciting.
what changed? Like, I'm just curious, like what have been the main changes from, I mean, that's massive growth year over year.
The main thing is just at the very beginning and even in, January, I found for me, I was focused on, I feel like the reason I was going so slow is because I was wanting everything to be perfect. I was so scared to mess up. I had to, micromanage every job to make sure the customer wasn't upset with something. And it just kept me, it really just put brakes on everything. I think what changed for me, it was the end of October 2024. I had done a couple small jobs. I think I had subbed out two jobs. One was 1,500, one was 1,100. And out of nowhere, I get a job from Angie's List, and it ended up being like a 20K job. And I was freaking out because I was like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I'm new to all of this. And I text Evan in the course, Evan Keyser, and I was like, dude, I know you're close to my age. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm so scared to mess up. He's like, what are you scared about? So I told him, I was like, I just want it to all go perfect. He's like, dude, nothing is ever going to go perfect. Like, just get out there, get it done. You've never done this before. Yeah, you're probably going to mess up. but just learn from it. He's like, that's all you can do is just learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of chilled me out. And my subs went and did the job. They did an okay job. Like if they did that now, I'd be really mad at them for the work that was done. But the customer was happy. Everything did come out okay. Like there wasn't anything majorly wrong. It was just some minor stuff. But yeah, that job, I was like, okay, if I produced a 20K job starting this whole thing, like I think I can figure this out. So
Yeah.
after that, I just really started pushing my marketing, sales. Like I just dove into the course. The main thing
Yeah.
is just doing what the course says and not focus on perfection. Like just go get results and you'll figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. With that kind of growth year over year, like I imagine marketing is up significantly year over year, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what are the main ways you market?
It's really mainly just been Facebook ads. So 2024, I was doing some Angie's List, or it was Angie's ads. And then I started after that big job, I started Facebook ads because I had it in my budget now to, run some Facebook ads.
You were flipping couches still on the side to get budget to
Yeah,
dump.
I literally was. I was still doing couches in 2024. So
Were you
yeah,
really? Oh,
I was,
I was just kidding. You're like, no, I
I
actually.
was. So yeah, it's really just been Facebook ads. I started off with like $50 a day running it. I've just scaled it up since then, but it's all been Facebook ads. Word of mouth is starting to pick up now because I have marketed myself so much. I'm starting to get, of course, more jobs. Word of mouth is getting there, but it's really just been Facebook ads.
Awesome, man. I want to dive into that because a lot of people listening, either everyone's in a different spot with Facebook ads. A lot of people have tried it and it hasn't worked, or people have tried it and they're having success, or some people haven't even tried it. So yeah, walk us through like what's worked really well for you on Facebook ads.
So the very first ad I ever did, it was just a video. It was a video of me in that big job. I recorded myself, said, "Hey, my name's Samuel Satterfield with STS Contracting, located out of McDonough. We're here doing a full interior repaint. I know holidays are coming up. A lot of y'all want your home painted too. So if that's you, fill out the lead form below, and I'll contact you as soon as possible." So I literally just one creative. I ran that creative from October unto February 2025. That's just the one thing I did, and it crushed it. And then that one kind of dwindled down. I think it's called ad fatigue or whatever. But ever since then, I mean, that's really the only type of creative I run is just a video of me speaking. I've done some before and after pictures. I've done like B-reels of the guys working. And then I've done like a couple selfie pictures. But
Yeah.
that's really it. Like customers, almost every single estimate I do, I have the customer tell me, "Oh, you're the guy from Facebook." Like that's how I'm known, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, I'm like, yeah. I was like, what did you think of that? And they're like, it's really important to the home. They all say it's really important to us as a homeowner that we have somebody that's standing behind their work, showing their face. They're not afraid to show their work or show their company.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's worked so well.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you started running Facebook ads in October 2024.
Yes.
Okay. So not even a year ago, less than a year ago you started. And what are your numbers? Like, what's your cost of marketing on Meta?
So total cost of marketing is 8%. Just Facebook ads, I would say is probably around like 6.5, 7%.
Wow.
Because I'm doing some SEO too, but I try to keep that below 10% as much as possible.
Wow. So right around 6% cost of marketing on Meta. Do you know what is your cost per lead?
Cost per lead the past couple weeks, it's been around like $20 to $30 per lead. So those are really good, but with that, of course, you get lower intent leads. It's averaging though for the year. I'm averaged at around like $45 per lead.
$45. And then do you know what your lead conversion is? Like how many of those leads turn into estimates on average?
Beginning of the year was 60%. Since I'm getting more leads and there's just a little bit lower intent there, it's dropped to about like 40%. But yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's still solid. I'm hitting my numbers that I need to.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. $45 cost per lead. Converting 40% of them into estimates is about $110 cost per estimate, like
Yeah.
$110 cost per appointment completed,
Hmm.
which is fantastic. I mean, that's incredible, especially I think you said you have a 53% sales rate.
Yes. Hmm.
Wow. So your cost to acquire a new client is right around $200.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Hmm.
And what is your average job size?
4,500. for the year.
4,500. Yeah, which exactly like you said, puts your cost of marketing right around 5-6%. That's
Mhm.
amazing, man. Really, really good job. So you found success with a lot of just selfie videos, just shot from your phone?
Yeah, I record it on my phone. It's either with the guys working in the background or after we just finished up a job.
Yeah.
What I'll do now, I'll record it. I'll do it different angles. That way, I can put some are for reels, some is just while you're scrolling. That way, I have a variation.
Yeah.
And then I'll record it. I'll go on CapCut and I just put captions at the bottom of it. That way, if they
Nice.
don't have the volume on, they can still read what I'm saying.
So you're the one running the Facebook ads. You haven't hired an agency, right?
Yeah, I haven't hired an agency. There's no need to, honestly, when you're at the point I am, because it's in the course on how to run it. That's how I got started. After a while, you're like, okay, I need to start testing stuff or whatever. All I did Facebook webinars in the course. I joined a couple school groups for Facebook ads, which was like $50 a month. And $50 a month is saving me $1,500 a month on hiring ad agency.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't I'm a big proponent of not hiring an agency until your ad spend hits a certain point. Then it can make sense for sure. You
yeah,
know, I always, most agencies charge around $2,000. I mean, they vary, of course. You can find some for less than that, but on average, $2,000. So if your monthly budget on Facebook is $3,000, it wouldn't make sense to hire an
exactly.
agency and have 2/3 of your budget going to management to the agency and
Yeah,
only 1/3 of your budget going into Facebook ads. So I always like to say, like, I wouldn't hire an agency until at least like $7,000-8,000 in monthly ad spend, preferably a little bit more, just so most of the budget is going into the actual ads themselves, not
yeah.
the agency.
Yeah, I think I'm still at that point. Probably in a few months, I'll start looking for an agency. Right now, I'm just trying to dial in. Since I am spending that amount, I'm getting a ton of leads in, but I need to figure out like how to make sure I'm still getting a good intent on the leads, and it's not just random people clicking through. So that's
Yeah.
where I'm at now. But it's still like I'm still hitting my numbers that I need to. Cost of marketing is still
Yeah.
below 10%. So
So on your best performing ads historically, are you what's the gist of what you're saying on camera? Are you talking about an offer that you're running right now, or are you talking about the job that's going on behind you? Like what are some of your top performing ads? Like what's the actual content within them?
it's just saying like the ones I've run recently that have done really well. I'll say, hey, my name's Samuel Satterfield with STS Contracting. I'll say where we're located. I will say we're finishing up this exterior interior. And then I'll just say, I know a lot of y'all are wanting your homes painted too. You're looking for a great quality painting company that you can trust. If that's you, we're the perfect fit for you. So fill out the lead form and get your estimate. I haven't really said anything about a specific deal or anything. I'll have in the description like 10% discount or whatever, but
Yeah,
nothing really crazy. Just saying what we're doing, where we're at, and who we are.
that's amazing, man. That's awesome. Now, do you have an office manager calling those leads, or are you the one calling those leads?
No, I'm the one calling them, and that's something else I'm trying to work on because I have so many leads coming in. It's hard to call them right away.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to work through that right now.
Yeah.
Like I think this weekend I got like 15 leads,
Mm.
and I'm trying to enjoy my weekend. It's hard to call every single one of them when
Yeah.
they come in.
Yeah, yeah, totally. That's awesome, man. So Facebook is pretty much your sole Facebook and referrals, you said, and then you're just the only other paid marketing channels right now is SEO.
Yeah, and I started that in the end of April, so it's still I know that's SEO is a long process, so that's
Yeah,
still a work in progress there.
yeah,
I've tried Thumbtack. I didn't like it. I tried Painter's Choice, which it was good. It just wasn't. I got used to Facebook $45 cost per lead, leads coming in. I had
yeah,
control over that, so I just decided not to spend money on that. There was nothing really negative about them, and then Angie's Ads was the only other marketing that I've actually paid for, and they were okay at the beginning when I was painting just me, but it just got to the point I was not going to be spending money on that. You can't unless you literally called within the first 5 seconds. You weren't getting the
yeah.
job. You weren't getting an estimate.
On Facebook, how many ads do you have up at one time? Like how many ads? So what is your daily budget? And then how many ads are you running out any given time on average?
Right now, I have two campaigns. Both of them are at $100 daily budget, and then I believe it's three creatives on one campaign and then four creatives on another campaign.
Okay.
And then I just check it weekly. If one of them drops off, I'll add another creative in there,
Yeah.
and just that way, it keeps flowing.
Got it. So yeah, you're spending about $6,000 a month, $200 a day, $6,000 a month, and you've got roughly 7 ads going.
Yep.
Nice. Awesome, man. Well, yeah, that's incredible results. Good, really good job. And also I loved what you said. I just want to highlight what you said about, you're like, I learned Facebook ads through PvP. I joined a couple school groups and I learned it in there. And then just like you clearly trial and error, like you clearly just went and
Yep.
applied and aggressively applied the learnings that you were learning. And that's what a lot of marketing is, man, is trial and error. Like you don't really learn it until you're actually applying it and also like tracking the numbers on the back end. Kudos
Yeah.
to you for knowing your numbers. Like I talk to so many painting contractors who don't know their numbers like that. And it's going to be just really hard to improve anything if you're not tracking the results.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, just kudos to you for actually like really taking that on. And when you take it on over a long period of time, and then see these types of results, it's no wonder you see these types of results with how aggressively, you learned that and applied it.
Yeah. And I think it's the same way in the actual business. Just learn it. You don't, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just go and apply it. Like, don't sit there. I like I said, I felt guilty of that. I know other guys in my accountability groups, they felt fallen guilty of that. Just thinking it has to be a certain way, which we talked about that at the leadership event, like your view on things. It doesn't have to be the way you think it is in your mind before you can actually go and do it. Just do what the course says and you'll be okay.
Yeah, it's the best way to learn, man, is like, you have PvP, something like PvP as a guiding light, but then like go apply it and you will iterate and learn way faster.
Yeah.
As you apply it.
Hey, Eric here. Pretty much every person that you've heard on this podcast or you listen to is someone that we work with at Painting Business Pro. We've coached some of them. We've even become business partners with. What we do at Painting Business Pro is help people who are starting or growing a painting company grow an amazing business with great profit while enjoying an amazing lifestyle along the way. And transparently, our goal is that for the right people, we actually end up making a minority acquisition to help you grow your business even further as a partner of ours in our company. If you're someone who's serious about growing your company, living a great life, and you want some help doing it, we love what we do. We're very good at it. We do it in our own businesses right now. Head over to paintingbusinesspro.com and hit apply now, and we look forward to talking with you soon.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on the marketing success and the meta success specifically. That's amazing. So obviously with that growth, production has really ramped up. So how has things, talk to me about production. Like, how's that department of the business going?
It's going well. I'm at the point now. I probably work in June. I was pretty busy with production just because I had so many jobs to produce. I'm trying to remember if it was. I think it was May. May I did like 75K, and then June was 80K. So between the two, it's just a lot of production going on. But I average about 10 to 15 hours a week actually working on production.
Mm-hmm.
And that basically just comes down to sending out work orders, I'll do a walk around with my guys at the beginning of the job. If it's a long job, then I'll try to just check in to make sure everything's going smoothly. And then at the end, I normally get my guys to do a walk around with the customer. Just that way, obviously there's always going to be touch-ups, but that way I'm not sitting around for an hour waiting for the guys to finish up touch-ups. I'll just get the guys to do a walk around. When it's all good, they let me know. And then I just go back by the house, pick up the check. So I'm averaging like 10 to 15 hours a week on production right now.
Awesome, man. When a customer conflict comes up, so when a client has an issue, how do you handle that? Like, how do you go about that with your crew? How do you just go about that in general?
So the first I think it was the first real customer conflict I ever had. It was, first of all, I should have stuck to my minimum job size. I didn't do that. So it's like a minimum job size I have is $1,500. This was like a $750 stairwell. So of course you have the big walls on it. And I just felt like I should say yes instead of sticking to what, I knew to be right. So got the job, and my other crews were busy on other work. So I was like, instead of just pushing this job back for my guys that I know are going to do a good job on it, let me just get another sub that I know he'd get in there, get it done. He's going to be cheap. So we do that. He gets out there and paints it. They get finished, and then I get a call from the customer, and automatically she's just mad. She's like, "This is who you sent out here to do my work. You've never used these guys before. I can tell." And so it was a whole big thing. So I go over there. I was like, "Ma'am," I was like, "they just finished up." I was like, "The walls are drying." I was like, "I'll come over there and check it this evening, and we'll go from there." So I go out there, and there was definitely work that needed to be done. It would, for me personally, my opinion, it was not as bad as what she was making it out to be. But with the customer, you cannot treat it that way. Obviously, she had her opinion about it. She was not going to pay until it was done how she wanted. So I was looking over everything. We came up with a plan for her. I tried to stay as cool as possible about it. Me getting emotional, that's never going to fix anything. So try to stay as cool as possible about it, come up with a plan. Then I called the sub. I'm like, "Hey, this job's messed up." I was like, "We're going to have to get out here and fix it." I was like, "I'll meet you out here tomorrow, show you what needs to be done. You fix it. We'll get you paid. You just come out here, do the job the right way." I was like, "It's going to go a lot faster than if you try to keep cutting corners." So sub comes back out. They finish the job. They do it right. Customer's cool. Everything went fine. So my biggest takeaway in that was just, which I actually typed up like a SOP about it after the whole situation. But I tried to stay as grounded and as cool as possible, because the customer, again, they're going to have their view about it. They're going to be upset about it no matter what the situation is. It could be something small, it could be something big. They're just going to be upset. So you, as the business owner, you have to just sit there and stay cool. You hear them out. After you hear them out, apologize, make sure they're good, and then just come up with a plan to fix it. I mean, it's paint. I think I heard Evan say that on his podcast. It's paint. Worst case scenario, it can either be touched up or cleaned up. Like, it's not that big a deal. So anytime something's come up, I've always just tried to keep that mindset about it. Like, it's just paint. It can be fixed. Just hear the customer out, come up with a solution for them, do the best you can, and they'll be okay with it. And that's always happened. Like, anytime there's ever been a problem, I've done that and it's all worked out.
Yeah, man. I love what you said. I have a very similar outlook when it comes to client experience, and like specifically when a client's upset, is the listening part and
Mm-hmm.
the actual like getting in the client's world about their view, and seeing it how they see it, like understanding and seeing their view of it is such a critical aspect, because if you skip over that, the
Yeah.
whole interaction from there on out is combative.
Mm-hmm.
And it rarely gets better if you skip over
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's such a, very easy to say that, more difficult for people, I think, to put into practice
Mm-hmm.
that concept of like listening to them and viewing it from their view.
Yeah.
Because it really takes like setting aside your view and looking at it from their view and really understanding their view and then making them feel heard about that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that's the first time I really learned to do that, because the morning the guys were supposed to go out to fix everything, I get a call from the customer again, and it was 15 minutes straight of her just cussing me out. Like, she was like, "You have no integrity," just coming after me. And I could have very easily, like, gotten offended by that, gotten all emotional, done the same thing back, or just hung up the phone, never showed up again. But I was like, I don't want my company to be that way. I'm not that type of person. Just hear her out. So I let her go through the whole thing. It was literally 15 minutes straight. I didn't say a word. She was just going for 15 minutes. And at the end of it, I was like, "Ma'am," I was like, "I am so sorry you feel this way." I was like, "We came up with a plan yesterday." I was like, "We're going to get it done." I was like, "I'm going to make sure it gets done." I was like, "And we're not going to get any payment until it's finished how you want." I was like, "We're going to make sure you're happy." And she was like, she was like, "I can tell you're hearing me now, so I think I'm going to be okay."
Yeah.
And then after that, everything was cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's I've had the same experience many times of like that's what's needed in those situations, is like once they feel heard, it's like
Exactly.
their walls are down a little bit and there's a little bit more trust established, and then
Yeah.
from there you can get into solution mode. But if you get into solution mode too fast,
Mhm.
it can just be combative the whole way.
Yeah. They just want to be heard. And then after they're heard, an apology, that's all they want. And then a solution to fix it. So,
Yeah. Another thing I really like what you just said is it sounds like to me that you've really like created for yourself who you want to be in those situations. You said something like, that's not who I want my company to be. You know who you are in those situations. So whatever a client says to me. In that case, she was cussing you out. You
Yeah.
didn't take it personal because, you have it sounds like I'm jumping to a conclusion here, but it sounds like you have a really good understanding that however they're reacting isn't like a personal attack on you. It's not a reflection of
Yeah.
you necessarily. It's how they're expressing their frustration in that moment. And then so understanding that allows you to stay a little disattached from, not get defensive as easy.
Yeah.
And then from there, you've really created like who I want to be as a business owner is I want to deliver a great experience. And, that's super easy to do when clients are really happy, but that gets really
Yeah.
tested when
Exactly.
clients are upset.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, man. That's great. Yeah. That's such a critical aspect of running a successful business. If you want to run one that delivers an exceptional experience to people is how you handle conflicts and how you handle upset clients.
Yeah. Because like you said, I mean, when customers are happy, it's easy. But,
Yeah.
there's problems come up, customers not happy. That's when it gets tough. And that's where you actually decide what your company is going to be and if you're going
Yeah.
to continue. So,
100%, man.
yeah.
Yeah. It's great. What about your subcontractors? What about your crews? Like in the same vein, like how's your relationships with your crews and how have you cultivated those relationships?
So now I have one full-time crew. It's a man and his wife. They actually produce a ton of work for just them two. And then I have another crew. They're part-time. It's three of them. It's a man, his nephew, and then his uncle, which I found both of them. I found the full-time crew. I found him in December. And then that second crew, I found him in, I believe it was the end of January, which I got really lucky with him. I didn't have to go on, a 6 month long search to find subs. The first guys I ever used, like I said, they did good work, but there were several jobs where I was supposed to meet them out there at 8:30, and they weren't there at 8:30. Comes 9, they're still not there. Haven't heard anything from them, and then I have to let the customer know I don't know what's going on. I hope the guys are okay. I'll let you know as soon as I hear something. And then they give me a call at 10. Hey, I had a flat tire. So it was just a bunch of stuff like that with that first crew. And I tried my best, like multiple, I definitely gave them way too many chances, but I was trying my best. Like, okay, this is how I need it to be done. If you can do this, I will keep you. If not, I'm going to have to let you go. Like, I can't keep using you. This is not the type of business I want to run. It's ruining my reputation. And then things just kept happening. So we ended up parting ways, which I still have a good relationship with him. Like, he'll call me for business advice or whatever. I actually recommended him the Painting Business Pro course because I was like, dude, you need some help with your business. So we still have a good relationship there. And then after him, I found my full-time crew, and they, ever since then, I mean, I've been using them. They do awesome work. I've had maybe one customer complaint, but it wasn't even our guy's fault. I tried one other guy out, and it was an absolute nightmare with him. It was just one job though, so it didn't really affect me. But as far as actually cultivating the relationship with my subs, like I've tried, especially when I know I messed up on estimating a job, and like I go out price trim for a coat, but it's going to take two coats. And we talked about in the work order, it's going to take one coat. Like I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, just put another coat on there. Like I try to make sure my guys know that they're going to get covered for their time, especially if it's something extra. That was my mistake. But on the opposite side of that, like when it's the sub's mistake, you got to stand your ground and let them know, hey man, like this is on you. Get this fixed. And just trying to find that right balance there. I feel like I've definitely found that with them, and just respecting their time. Like they're running a business too. Like they want their time respected. You shouldn't be, if a job's going late, like just, hey man, just come the next day. It's all good. Like stuff like that. Like just trying to respect their time, let them know that, they're going to get covered. You're here, you're on their team. If a customer comes with something, not just automatically attacking them. Like we're on the same page here. So I've just always tried to have respect for my guys because I've been that painter too. And I just try to view it that way. I don't know if that answered the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, that's great, man. When there is customer conflict, like how do you handle that with the crew? Say a customer's upset, like, yeah, you just said not immediately jumping and like blaming the crew.
Yeah.
You said something to that effect. So talk to me about like, what do you say to the crew when there's a upset client?
So there was one job we did. It was an interior. It was like a living room. Then you had a stairwell coming up and like a landing. So it was just like four big walls that needed to be painted. They painted them, did two coats on the walls, but the customer was upset that we painted too fast in between coats. So the customer came at me. He was all upset that we had voided the warranty and that we only did one coat on the walls because you could still see the color before was like a green and we were going with like a, like a neutral yellow. On the high parts, you could still see some of the green coming through. So I was like, okay, obviously in these parts, it didn't get two coats on there. And then also the guy should have waited a little bit longer between coats to let it dry out at least. Like it was definitely, it was humid in there. So that's how it goes. You got to let it fully dry out. So the customer came to me with that. I came up with a plan for the customer, and I go and tell my sub, like, hey man, you definitely did not wait long enough to paint between coats. Like you only waited like an hour. Like there's no way it was fully dried. And that's why there's still spots coming through. I was like, all we need to do is go in there, just do one more coat. I was like, if I need to cover materials, I can. It'll take like 2 more gallons. I was like, but get in there, just do one more coat so the customer's happy and it'll all be good. I was like, I'll make sure you get paid when it's all finished. So I just try to stay as cool as possible and, communicate with the sub what the plan was with the customer. If it is something they did wrong, acknowledge that so they know what to do differently in the future and, just get it done. Like there's no reason you got to sit there and argue back and forth. I just try to do it that way. Like try to get as much emotion out of it as you can.
Yeah. I can see a lot of crossover to how you handle customer complaints or customers being upset, with the client and with the crew. Just it's that staying grounded emotionally and, hearing their side of things and then also coming up with a plan that it's very logical, like a very logical plan of like, hey, this is the best way off this job is like, we got to do this right.
Yeah.
And then also like, I think it's really important what you said of, I can hear that you're not like nickel and diming crews. And like fighting over the $100 of materials
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
going to take. And it's just like, those little things can go a long way when you have your crews back and you're like, hey, I'll take care of it on this time, and like, that can go a really long way.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's not obviously like undermining accountability. Obviously, if it's a crew who's made a mistake, then maybe that might be different. But in some of those gray areas, they can really go a long way to have your crews back and be willing to, not make quite as much money on any given one job in the name of having your crews back.
Yeah, exactly. And I've always tried to do that. Like it was the beginning of June. We did a house. It was, I can't remember what type of wood it was, but it was a stained house. They wanted to go to paint. This was the second time I've ever done it, but I completely messed up the bid. Like I totally underbid the project. And I could have easily said, I could have easily told my guys, we agreed to this price before getting started. It ended up taking I think it took double what I quoted for primer. It took almost double the amount of time that we had expected. So I told my guys, I was like, look, my main concern right now is getting the job done right. I was like, I obviously messed up on, estimating this job. I was like, let's just get it done. I was like, whatever extra, we'll figure it out as long as it's fair. This is definitely on me. I knew the guys were not trying to take advantage. So that, I know that job for sure went a long way with my guys because I could have easily said, we agreed to this beforehand. It's your fault that it's taking more primer because you're the one spraying it. I could have viewed it that way, but I chose not to because, past this job, I need my guys to finish more jobs for me, and I want to make sure they're doing it right.
Yep.
So that's really the only job I didn't even lose money. I just broke even on it. So just trying to view it that way. It's money comes and goes. My average gross profit has been 50% still, even with, totally losing it on that job.
Yeah.
So
totally. Yeah. Having a long-term view is super critical there.
Yeah.
How do you think that, subcontractor relationships play into client experience? Those are the last two things we just talked about there. How do they play into each other?
Well, I mean, if the sub's not having a good attitude, knowing he's going to be treated right, why is he going to go into somebody's home and treat it right and do a good job? If he knows he's going to be nickeled and dimed, that's just going to switch his mind. Let me get this done as fast as possible. It doesn't matter how it looks. Let me just get it done so I'm going to get paid because, this guy doesn't care about me. He just wants the job done. That definitely, if they're not happy, if the subs aren't happy, if they know, they're just there for the job, they're not really in it for the long term. They're just going to go and get the job done and then on to the next. If the next doesn't work out, then, they're going to be gone. But same thing the other way. If they know they're going to be treated right, they know if something comes up, you're going to be in their corner. They're going to stick around. They're going to do the right job for you. They're going to be concerned about the customer experience too. because the customer experience affects my business. If I have a good business and a good reputation, I'm going to get more work for them. So it's just a good symbiotic relationship when everybody's being treated right, everybody's happy. Obviously problems come up, but it's my job as a business owner to make sure everybody's getting treated fairly. So that's how I try to view it all.
It's great, man. Awesome, Sam. Well, yeah, congratulations on the business growth, man. That's amazing. If you were to leave the audience with, I'm just curious, like what one or two of your biggest like learning lessons over the last year has been, in a growth stretch where you just 4x'd, like what's been one or two learning lessons that you want to leave the audience with?
It's a quote by Jim Rohn. I remember I posted it in the accelerator group. I think it was in like November 2024, but don't major in minor things. Like I said, it's so easy, especially when you're just starting out. It's so easy to spend, a month building a logo. Customers don't care about your logo as long as they know what your business name is to write the checks out to you. The same thing with a website. Like you could spend, if you really wanted to, you could spend 2-3 months like just building a website so it's perfect. Like you don't have to focus on perfection. Go in the course, learn what needs to be done. First thing to focus on is leads. Once you get leads coming in, figure out how you set those up as estimates, which all you got to do is the initial call script, get that thing memorized. And then from there, go and do the estimate, sell the job. You're going to suck at the beginning. Like my sales rate at the beginning, I think was like 15%, but go sell the job. You'll get better. Now I'm at like 53%. I think June I was at 65% sales rate. So just focus on one piece at a time and don't get caught in each piece wanting it to be completely perfect, because it's not going to be. And at the beginning, you're doing everything yourself. There's no way it can be perfect. So just focus on one thing at it: leads, estimates, sales, and then just produce the job and focus on each part of it. And you'll go through cycles where you're focused on a different section more than the others, but just keep moving through it. It's like I've heard you talk about it on some of the Painting Business Pro Facebook posts. Eric's talked about it. It's each bottleneck. Just solve the next bottleneck. Yep. And to solve it, it doesn't mean it has to be a perfect solution, but just solve that, go to the next one.
So, It's really good, Sam. Yeah, really good. And if all that fails, then just revert back to flipping couches.
Exactly. Yeah. Worst case scenario, I can go sell more couches.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for being on the podcast today, Sam. It was a really great conversation.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying the show, it would mean the world to me if you would leave a quick review for the podcast and what you gotten out of it. It helps our show reach more people and inspire more people. Thank you so much.